Many men have anxiety and a depression, but we will not talk about and will get moderately annoyed at you for bringing it up. Holy shit, this got gold. Thank you, kind stranger. I remember when I thought this was a successful post when it had only like 30 upvotes. A lot of women don't understand that it takes us a lot longer to figure out how we feel about something than most women. Give us time to process, and we'll bring it up if and when we want to talk about it. But don't try to push us to be emotional, since most men aren't as driven by feelings as most women. If you compliment my appearance, I will probably remember forever. I still remember when a girl in college told me I look nice with my beard when I first grew it out. I've had a beard ever since. I'm a woman. In college I complimented this random guy in line for coffee that he smelled really nice. It wasn't a pickup line or anything, I just enjoy complimenting people. About a year later we ended up having a class together and I didn't recognize him at all. He came up to me and thanked me again for the compliment I gave him a year ago and said he hasn't forgotten about how nice that was for a stranger to be so upfront and to compliment him. We'll be married 7 years in June. Edit. Thank you for my first medal. I love sharing this story. Keep complimenting people, no matter their gender. You are a spark in a world of dry tinder. My dad served in the Pacific during World War II. A kid from the Bronx. He had never been out of the Bronx in his entire life. Then he got sent to New Guinea. Decades later, as he lay dying in the hospital bed, he told us, as his young friends were being slaughtered by other young men, just before they died, they always cried for their mothers, never for their fathers, always for their mothers. He said, they were just kids being slaughtered by other kids, and then they died, in his arms. Their last words were always, where is my mother, where is my mother, where is my mother, never for their fathers. That affected him for his entire life, and Dad lived a long time. He was the lucky one. IDK if other guys feel this too, but I am always afraid of accidentally making women feel uncomfortable in my presence. For example, when I happen to walk in the same direction as a woman in front of me for a while and I am not even interested in women in the first place. Sometimes we don't talk to people cause we don't want to intimidate them. I might see a girl with a cool shirt on but I don't want to make her think I'm coming on to her or something. Rather than freak her out that a 6'6" guy thinks she looks good today, I just leave her alone, especially if we're on an elevator or something where she can't leave if she actually is uncomfortable. After a shower, we have no problem drying our balls and face with the same towel. Most of the time we try to dry the face first, then the sack, but sometimes we have to go back to the face. We just hope we use an uncontaminated part of the towel. Edit. Uncontaminated. Eyeballs are clean after a shower. Just, you know, wiping the balls than wiping my face is just kind of, yay, and then by the next day the towel forgets and it resets. As an older man, we don't expect you to look like a supermodel as we age together. Yes, at times I do see you as I did 30 years ago and every wrinkle and flaw disappears. Yes, there are times I see every wrinkle and flaw, and know how you got every one of them. They are beautiful too. I wish more older men would answer. The answers so far are cool, but I'm also interested in hearing how life experience affects what is said. When we want to be alone, it's not that we don't want to be around you, it's that we don't want to be around anyone for a bit. I get this one way too well. I go through bouts where I just don't want to talk to anyone regardless of how close we are. For me it's not even a thing where I'm upset or I'd hate it if someone was around. I just need time to think and reorganize my head every so often as well as to just shut my head off for a bit. But I mean if they wanna silently hang around that's not a problem. I don't mind being around, I just need mental quiet. We don't get the hint. Saying I almost broke my neck in the driveway is not the same as asking us to shovel it. In my mind I'm thinking thanks for the heads up, I'll be careful. Subtle hints do not work. Obvious hints do not work. Anything short of spelling it out ABC stylitus will not work. When I try to pick up on hints I get it wrong almost every time. Your chances of getting what you want out of us are infinitely higher if you tell us directly. I can vouch for this. I was upset with myself for not picking up what I thought were clear hints, when he responded frustrated with, I don't understand hints, just tell me what you want woman. He really helped me communicate better. I don't know why we grow up thinking we can't directly ask for things. Imagine hinting what you want at Chipotle. I don't know, do you think I want guacamole? It's not that I want guacamole, it's that I want you to want me to have guacamole. Oftentimes, we genuinely don't care where we go to eat because we're just hungry and want food. Any food, as long as you eat some too. Edit. I am glad someone liked my toilet comment enough to give me gold. I promise to use this responsibly 99.9% of the time. I don't care. I'm not being a pushover by having you choose what to eat, because I might as well fry some hot dogs and cook pasta, add ketchup and voila, dinner. But I already know that isn't fancy enough, so you choose. Luckily, I've found someone that'll actually eat that, so our days of not knowing isn't very indecisive. We just raid the cupboard and freezer and make ourselves whatever. I'm a girl and I've found out through the years that when guys say something, don't think too much into it, like what's the hidden meaning, don't overthink it. Guys normally say stuff that should be taken at face value. It confounds me every time I hear this, like, how always being direct and straightforward with your words not the first expectation when anyone hears someone speak. What kind of inefficient communication skills have developed among women that the default is to not trust the immediate meaning of words? The mental struggle we have to go through to not scratch around our groin in a public setting. It'll take 100% of my willpower to not do it. The itching can drive me insane, yet the euphoria from actually scratching it is so good. I often imagine this must be what it's like scratching a dog's ears. There is a reason why men's pants have deep pockets that are deep enough to reach balls. Vegas. The nod. When you see a guy you don't know, or kind of know but don't really know well enough to talk to, walks by, you give a subtle nod of your head, which they return. I talked to my wife about it and she confirms that women do not do this, but that they sometimes smile instead. Edit. Because it keeps coming up. Some girls also give the nod. Typically, an up nod is for your friends, and a down nod is for strangers or less than friends. This could subconsciously have to do with a baring or hiding of the throat. Thanks everyone for the comments. Edit 2. Some women nod also. I have been told no need to add another identical comment. There is an unwritten rule of bathroom urinal etiquette that is never taught to young men, but is somehow universally known. When a man enters a public restroom to pee in the urinal, he is to occupy every other available urinal from other urinating men, meaning, the prime peeing positions are in urinals 1, 3, and 5. If that is available, 2 and 4 should only be occupied if there are no other choices. I spent an hour or so this morning reading about fighter jets and dozed off and dreamt that I was a pilot. Then I remembered a cool folder I had once with a T-Rex flying a fighter jet on it. I laughed out loud at that memory, and when my wife asked why, I said not to worry about it. Then I laughed again because I thought about a T-Rex trying to fit in at flight school. My wife and I are now fighting because she thinks I'm hiding something. We're really not that mysterious. Sometimes we're just laughing at a T-Rex trying to take notes on wind speed and lift. Edit. Thanks for the love. I can't speak for your wife, but I would actually have loved hearing about this because it sounds hilarious to me as well. You'll know better than I will how she would handle something like this, but possibly give her a chance and share something like this sometime. Edit 1. A few people have apparently thought that I was flirting with the OP. It was quite the opposite actually. I know I enjoy when my so shares some of these thoughts with me, so I was trying to encourage OP to try that, if he hasn't already, in case he and his wife would both enjoy it. Edit 2. Many of you are right. Some people would definitely not react well to the thoughts going through your head. In many cases that is probably unfair of them, and I'm sorry you have had to put up with that. Everyone is different, so some of us may find it enjoyable, some may not, and unfortunately there is not a good way to know until after the fact. I meant to simply share that some women might actually enjoy it, so don't feel like you can't share things with some of us. Edit 3. I actually agree with several of you that not every single thought needs to be shared, but maybe an occasional share could be fun. I will acknowledge though that for some that might still not work, or that might not be enough for other so's. I am sorry that there is so much variance because I'm sure that is very frustrating. If you want something, just ask us. We are task-orientated. Saying, "I'm cold," won't always register to us as, "I need a blanket, can you get me one?" And if you're mad at us for something, just tell us and we will probably stop doing that thing if it's realistic. Don't just fester in your anger for days and wonder why we don't care. We do, we just have no idea what you want us to do. Edit. For those wondering, yes, I did get this from the Owen Benjamin bit, and I highly recommend giving it a watch. I'm cold. AWW. I'm sorry. Continues watching TV.